Hello, collective. I was doing some pre-shuffling and kind of tuning into your energies for this reading. And the question was, what is it you're manifesting at the moment? Because we're still in the energy of the Lionsgate portal. It is until the 12th. Which will be the date of the release of this video, which I'm also feeling like that's also saying like it's not too late. I think it's never too late to manifest what it is you want, because that's what it's all about. The 8-8 portal, it's growth, it's manifestations, and I don't know about you, but I've been doing some revising in terms of what it is I want, where I'm going, what I want to do next. It's a time for getting in tune with your goals and aligning your thoughts and feelings with those goals. And as I was shuffling, a couple cards fell out, and I just felt like spot on. It was already a message. Because we started off with the 7 of Cups, which is all about opportunities. With the sun, it might be a bit difficult to see, but all about having different opportunities. And I feel that's exactly what this time is all about, because you have all of the opportunities like at your feet, but it's all about where you're gonna direct your energy. And depending on where you direct your energy, that's where you will end up. That's what you're gonna get. So it's all about also not only like physical goals, like, okay, if I say yes to this job, then I'm gonna be at that job. It's also about, what am I thinking? What am I feeling? What am I embodying in my everyday life? How am I showing up every day? Even though no one else is watching, not about that. How am I showing up? And how is that aligned with my goals and where I'm going and what I want? Because it was followed up, the 7 of Cups, it was followed up by the Hermit. So this is telling me, like, we're talking inner work here. This is about you aligning your thought patterns. Like, are you thinking positively or negatively about where you want to be and what you want to achieve and what you want to do? When you think about those things, are you experiencing them as like, do you see obstacles or do you see solutions? How are you choosing to view this place where you want to be, this future you? How are you going to get there? And do you feel, if you're experiencing too many blockages, like, dig into that, do some shadow work and like question, why does it feel like a blockage? Is it some old thought pattern that maybe I got? Sorry, that's a happy kitty shouting in the background. Because manifestations, it starts with your thoughts. And what do you think is achievable? What do you think you can do? What do you think you deserve to have? And if you set any kind of limits and boundaries on that, like, where do they come from? If you're seeing obstacles and if it just feels heavy and it feels like something is impossible or something along those lines, like, who told you it was? Where is it coming from? If someone else can do it, why can't you do it? Like, is it, did you have a lot of negative people like in your surrounding? And in that case, like, recognize that and like look into how you can turn that around. It's like, okay, but that's their thoughts. It's a reflection of what they're feeling and what they think is possible, not what you think is possible. Not necessarily, not unless you let it be your thoughts as well, and you let it be your reality as well. It's all about what can you create for you and what do you want. Because it doesn't matter what they want and what they think and whatever. It's not their life, it's your life. And we also had at the bottom of the deck, we got the Knight of Wands in the reverse. So it's also letting me know, like, something's got to take time. And that's in part connected to this inner work part of this message. Because if we're talking very old thought patterns, perhaps something that you've had for the majority of your life, you thought that there was this kind of obstacle, but all this time it was just in your mind. Like, that can take a lot of work to, one, recognize, and two, like, get rid of and sort of replace those thoughts with new thoughts, new ways of looking at things, new ways of looking at life, and embodying all the things you want to be. Like, that can take a lot of work. So some things, it might take time to get to the end goal, but as long as you're taking like little steps every day, just little by little, doing your thing and focusing on what it is you want, eventually you will get there. Just don't ever quit. For as long as you want this thing, and for as long as you feel it's worth it, just do not give up. Keep on going. That's what Spirit is saying. And yes, some things may take time, and there might be some periods of time where things are moving slower, but then there are going to be other periods of time where things just sort of like take off, and all of a sudden you're, on this huge high, and you kind of get like a gust of air. I got the angel of air, so I was hearing like a gust of air sort of like pushing you forward. And then there might be some time where perhaps, there is a bit of wind blowing sort of in your face, and maybe making you have to slow down a little bit. But slow down or stopping for just a break every now and then, there's nothing wrong with that. Just, Spirit is saying that it's all about keep going, think long-term goals, and all the little steps you can do along the way to get there in the long run. It doesn't have to be finished, started and finished on the same day. But it's about starting and taking this thing that is in your mind space about what it is you want, and putting small things, doing small things into action, so that you will eventually reach this place of where you want to be and the things you want to manifest. Because then we also had the sun showing up, which is just telling me like that's what's on the other side of this. It's whatever this vision is of this life you want to have, or this thing you want to manifest, or whatever it is, if that is something that will bring you joy or satisfaction, or this state of being that you want to be in, like, it's so worth it. Because that's your sun, and that's your way of living your life and viewing things your way. What's important to you. And then again, because I'm hearing like this sort of rumbling or mumbling of other voices, and there's a large part of all of this inner work, and it's so important to be able to shut out the voices that might bring you down, that are perhaps not supportive, or that are posing some kind of like, sort of evil eye type of energy. Like, it's so important to just shut that out and redirect your focus. Because again, it's about directing your focus where you want to go, and focus on that, and all of these other things that are letting you know that perhaps it's impossible, or it's difficult, or oh, it's so hard. Shut that out and redirect your thoughts to the solution. Okay, so this is a challenge. You come across something and you go, I've never done this thing before. Okay, but let me research a little bit. How do I get around this? How do I solve this? How have other people solved this problem? And how can I take that and maybe do it my way, try it my way? And perhaps I have to try a few different kinds of solutions, but eventually I'm going to keep going until I find the solution that is for me, that is the solution to my challenge, so that I can overcome it. And that was a Kitty confirmation. I don't know if you heard her. She chimed in with the message. So it's identifying the challenges, and then seeing how can you work on that. How can you overcome them? Yeah, okay, so let's see what other messages. Actually, because with the Ten of Wands and the Magician, we're just going to keep on going where we're standing. These couple of cards were actually speaking to me as well, because I could hear it. With the Ten of Wands, because as we were just saying, like, they're going to be, naturally, as with anything, there are going to be certain aspects that are more challenging than others, and things might feel very overwhelming in the moment, or perhaps when you just come across, you realize a challenge, or you just, when you bump into something for the first time. But again, with the Magician, how do I overcome this? How do I work my way around it? How do I use my skills and the tools that are all around me in the world? How do I take those things and use them to my advantage? And that's the same thing goes for, could be any kind of hardship like that you go through. How do I take that experience and transmute it into something that turns into my benefit? How do I benefit from this and focus on that part? Because that can be extremely empowering. You can take some of the hardest things you've been through, and if you see the lesson learned in it, and if it was some kind of perhaps a bad choice we made at some point or something like that, how do I make sure that I don't do it again? But then just focus on the positive outcome of stuff. Like, okay, so this thing happened, so what? Now it's a part of my experiences in life. I learned a lot from it, because we always learn from, there's so much to learn from any experience. To think otherwise would be ignorant. So what can I learn from this, and how can I use it to my benefit? That's what Spirit is saying. Let's see if we can get just a couple more cards. Ooh. That was the King of Wands in the reverse, and also the Fool in the reverse. King of Swords reversed, and the Three of Pentacles reversed, and then the Eight of Cups. Ten of Swords at the bottom. Okay, so what I'm hearing is that there could be some kind of dilemma in terms of old life versus new life, because with the two kings in the reverse, I'm hearing kingdoms fall and kingdoms must fall. All kingdoms fall. It's that's being repeated to me. I'm hearing it from Spirit, because that's also a part of evolving. And with the Eight of Cups, like sometimes when we want something new that we haven't had before, something else has to go. Because you're reaching, to get this other thing, you have to be in a new alignment, one that you haven't been until this point. Otherwise, you would have this thing that you want. So it could be, sometimes it's leaving certain groups of people behind. It could be leaving a certain type of job or income behind to be able to align and get this new opportunity. Because the Fool is also in the reverse along with these kings. So it's telling me, it's this paradox where also, if you never take the leap, if you never go for it in some sense, I'm not telling anyone to like up and leave your job tomorrow and not have an income and just sort of hope that things will work out. Like, I'm not saying be reckless about stuff, but I'm saying take steps towards stuff, because that's what's coming across in this reading. And the part of that is also, if you don't ever dare to take the leap and start, you will never get to the kingdom. And the kingdom could never fall because it was never built. Like, it was never there to begin with. So there is this aspect of it, like someone had to take a leap at some point and dare to start something for things to be built and things to happen and things to be manifested and achieved. There would be no kings if there were no kingdom, and someone had to start that journey. So someone has to be the one to take the first step. This could be if you're in a situation where perhaps you're the first one in your family to do something. Perhaps you're the first one to go travel. Perhaps you're the first one to go get an education at a certain level. Like, you could be the first one to do something. And perhaps your ancestors or your family, like they kind of paved the way for you to do that, and for you to be in that situation where you could do that. Maybe they had other struggles, but damn it, if you don't make the best of it. Like, we're only here one time, And if you have this thing that you really want to do, maybe you really want to get that education, or maybe you really want to have that type of job, or quit that education, or quit your job, whatever it is, there's always going to be an aspect of challenge to anything you do, just as there is always going to be, if you choose to see it, an aspect of joy, lessons learned, things we can grow from. And what else is there in this life unless, it's the lessons we learn, it's the experiences we gain, it's all the things we get to live and do and feel and think, and the connections we make. And we did get the Three of Pentacles in the reverse, but yet again, I'm feeling so strongly it's connected to the Hermit in this case, that there's a lot of inner work, and there's going to be parts of this journey where you're going to be alone. In part, it might be because you're starting at something that others might not get, that your current circle, like your social circle or family or whatever it is, they might not get. So it might feel lonely, even though they're there. It's like they cannot relate. It could be that type of aspect, or it could be that you might be physically lonely along this journey. Perhaps you moved to a new country, and unless you have people there that you know beforehand, it's going to take a while before you get to new people. But it's a part of the journey. It's part of building the kingdom. She's really talkative today. She seems to be. She agrees with the manifestation messages today. Anyway, so yeah, Queen of Pentacles, another court card in the reverse, and then the Six of Swords, 9 of Wands reversed, the 3 of Wands, yeah, Strength reversed, Leo season, and Ace of Cups. And since we're getting the Wands and the Pentacle court cards reversed, I feel like it's chiming in with a message of that there's gonna be, and the 3 of Wands as well, like there's a part of this, an essence of it, that is planning. There's a stage of planning of what it is you want. This could be like you sitting down with your journaling, writing lists. Somehow if you haven't already, write things down. Like, think about what it is you want, write it down, identify the challenges, and how do I deal with that? And Six of Swords is, it could be leaving some things behind. Something has to be left behind. It could also be old. Let's say you want to get fit, for example. Like you have this idea of a certain type of body you want or whatever. Then that is going to be leaving behind old patterns, like old habits that you're going to have to switch into new habits, or build in the new habits. So it's always about leaving something to get something new. There's always that aspect to things. But it is to be able to get this new beginning. Start out with a planning stage. That's what I'm hearing. Because there is so much energies of sort of pausing a little bit. Is this sort of pause before you go? And that's the energy we're in right now. It's the thinking of, okay, well, what is it that I want? Identify, what do I want? It all starts there. And then you start aligning. The more you focus on the things, focus on the thing you want, the more you're going to automatically align with it eventually. Just always be searching for the solutions to it. And that's later on in the manifestation process, but it's just like taking this first step, identifying what it is, start planning, start envisioning, like visualizing, how do I get there? What is the road to this thing? Anyways, that is what we're getting for this message. We're gonna leave it there. I hope you're having a great morning, day, evening, night, whenever you're watching this. Take care. Have fun with the journey of your manifestations. Enjoy it. Everything is play, all right? So take care. Bye.